Welcome back. I am Danny Martinez, Superintendent of the Central Conference, and today we're starting our Getting to Know the Staff series. Our first guest, as promised, is Karen Palmberg. She is the Associate Superintendent of the Central Conference. Karen has been a vital part of our team, working closely with churches and pastors, and today we'll hear more about her role and passion for ministry. Karen, welcome.
Thank you.
Can you share a bit about yourself and your background in ministry?
Sure. I have 2 kids and 3 grandchildren, and they are living close to me, so I have a chance to see them often. I've served churches in the Midwest, Great Lakes Conference, Northwest Conference, Pacific Northwest, and Pacific Southwest Conference the past 45 years. Also worked for Covenant Living, worked for Covenant Trust Company, and now I'm here at the Central Conference.
I think that working for those places gave you a unique perspective on the conference before you knew you were going to be serving.
It did.
How has it been to have such a different role with those churches?
Well, it's been interesting to be more on the outside than actually being part of the staff of a church and getting to know pastors and churches. But it's definitely a different perspective in some of the things that they would only talk to the conference superintendent about.
Well, you work closely with churches. What are some of the biggest joys and challenges you see in our conference?
The joys are seeing people coming to Christ and being baptized, seeing churches making choices to step out of their comfort zone and reach out and revitalize their churches to become more relevant. Kids coming to know Christ at Bible camp, and we have the Covenant Point and Covenant Harbor, and those ministries we are so blessed to have for kids and for families.
Yeah, so the camps are really a huge blessing to us, and to be church-owned, we not only have the privilege, we have the responsibility to support and walk along those great ministries. Karen, how do you support pastors and church leaders in their ministry?
Being present. Being available to them, providing them with resources that we have, and helping them to know that they're not alone out there, that they don't have to reinvent the wheel. They can come and talk with us, and we have so much that we can do. But a lot of it is simply just sitting and talking, listening to them, and then starting to share some dreams and ideas of what things might look like.
Okay, part of your job also is to walk with churches that are trying to find pastors. That can often be a scary time for a church. And most of the time, what we find is that churches want a pastor right away. So even if they had a pastor for 20 years, first of all, how do you walk with churches that way? And is that a good idea?
Especially if churches have had a long-time pastor, or if a pastor has not left well, it's a very difficult piece. And so I have actually been working with Peter Schoblum to do a Bridge Builders program for our churches. We just did a training for pastors, people who are going to be doing pulpit supply, some interim work, and the transitional pastors, because we want them trained. This is a unique thing to come in and help a church reimagine who they want to be able to talk about hurt, to address some of the things they need to address so that when the new pastor arrives, they're ready to minister to him or her, as well as what do they want their new pastor starting out with them on the next leg of the journey. And so it's really important that they don't just say, well, who can we get? We want to be sure they're vetted properly. We want to be sure that it's a good match, that the church has done their due diligence, and we just want to be a very non-anxious presence in whatever situations the church finds themselves in at that time.
Peter Schoblum, of course, is our former associate superintendent. And what is the name of the training that you're referring to?
It's called Bridge Builders. And we recently did the first one, and that was with 18 pastors. So we have now a pool of pastors who are equipped, who understand how to go in and minister to churches in this really unique situation of being in between pastors, maybe having had a long-term pastor, or maybe just really struggling with who they are. What's the next step? What should they be in the future?
So one of the things that we want to highlight is that these pastors requested a second training.
They did it.
A continuing training. And, you don't ask for a second training if you don't have fun with it, and also if you're not learning a lot. So what are some of the things that are learning for being a non-anxious presence in the local church?
They're coming in and they are doing it in different pronged approaches, particularly listening. First listening, then caring for, and visiting every one of the people in the congregation so that everyone has an opportunity to talk about and share and have a listening ear. And I think the pastors that were there, the 18 of us, they were excited to actually have things in black and white that they could say, yes, this is good stuff, and we want to be able to encourage our churches with this.
There will be a future podcast where we will talk about the, bridge builders, how does it happen, and why is the church is so much benefited from that. Back to you though, Karen, what has led you to serve as the associate superintendent? You were doing really well in Covenant Trust Company, and making a real salary. So what led you to come to us?
About 6 months ago, the Lord and I had quite a conversation, and I told him I was really tired of just collecting a paycheck. I was tired of a lot of things and wanted to just do ministry. I said, Lord, I got 5 to 15 years left. I only want to do ministry. And it was approximately a week later that I first got a call asking me to consider this. This was never on my radar. And so this was definitely a God thing. And I'm just seeing his provision all through. Yes, less salary, a lot more ministry, and so much more fulfilling.
Well, we are certainly grateful for that. And let me just correct you. It's about a year ago.
It is a year ago now.
Because you have been with us almost 6 months now. Yeah. So, and time goes by fast.
It does.
Yeah. So, other than walking with pastors, what are some of the key things that you do in your role?
I meet with our staff weekly. We have several that are contractors, several that are part-time, and working with children's ministries, working with our finance, working with pastoral care. And it's just important to continue to meet with them and stay on top of where things really are. I sit on the Harbor Point Ministry Board, and so being part of that is really fulfilling for me too. I meet with churches and of course work with them looking for their pastors. I have interviewed some seminary students, interviewing pastors who maybe are looking at coming into the Covenant Church and doing some interviewing with them. And all of those things are varied. No day is the same. And that's what makes it really exciting and fulfilling.
What are some of the exciting initiatives or projects you're currently working on?
Well, the Bridge Builders is probably the biggest one. And besides training the pastors, I'm excited about the churches also having the training so that they have a chance to really reflect and look at themselves and see what they're looking at. I'm also looking at seeing what kind of a generosity project I can come up with. We've struggled recently with churches since COVID not giving as they were to either the ECC or to the conference, and just working more on them understanding how they're being part of the conference, they're being part of the ministry going forward, and buying into all of that. That does have a dollar sign attached to it in other ways, and so working on that one. It's just about moving mission forward and following your lead in so many of these areas that are just, especially children and youth ministries. We just got to get back to getting that as more of a focal point, because they're not the church of the future, they're the church of right now.
You've touched on our theme this year for celebration, moving mission forward, but together.
Together,
right?
Absolutely.
So what are you looking forward to this first celebration for you? What are you thinking?
I'm excited about the workshops that we've come up with. I think they're going to be very life-giving and very informational for our pastors as well as our churches. I always love being together with the Covenant family. I love being part of that and seeing new people who maybe have never been to a gathering before, recognizing in a celebration the family that the Covenant Church really is. So I'm looking forward to reconnecting with a lot of those folks and helping some of our newer folks understand what resources we have that we can offer them, and they don't have to reinvent the wheel.
So, Karen, what's one piece of encouragement you'd like to share with our pastors and ministry leaders listening today?
The Central Conference and the conference superintendent and I really care about you. We really want to see you thrive. We want to see you successful. We want to see you healthy. We want to encourage you to have a spiritual director and have your counseling, because when we're well, we do well and we move Christ's mission forward. And that's what I'm excited, and I want to encourage all of our pastors to take advantage of what is being offered by our conference and the care and the love, and to reach out and ask, what does that really mean? How can we participate?
Where can people connect with you if they have any questions or if they need support?
On the website, my phone number is on there, and you can certainly text me. The email is on there. I appreciate getting those kind of contacts, and I just want to encourage you that please do reach out. I don't work business hours, so you're welcome to reach out when you need to talk, when you need somebody to pray with you, somebody to just listen.
And of course, our website is centralconf.org. Thank you for joining us today, Karen. We appreciate all you do for the conference. In the next episode, believe it or not, we get Patty Shepard. Patty Shepard is the manager of the Central Conference, and she is just an unbelievable person. If you've met Patty, you know that Patty is just someone that's very special to us, but also special to every single church and pastor. Be sure to subscribe and share the podcast with others. And we'll see you next time.